meters. Okay, I got the Victor Echo 3. Missed the tail end of that, but the name this side is Mark. That's Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I'm in the southeast of England. Just to make you aware, your signal isn't very strong to me, and I have a Santiago 2 noise floor, so we'll try to get you in the logbook anyway. But I'm just 15 miles southeast of London using a 5/8 wave vertical antenna, so not the best antenna maybe for DX today. So back to you, the Victor Echo 3. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot. Yeah, Victor Echo 3, Lima Oscar Echo, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot returning. Well, another very good afternoon to you, Ralph, and our third contact. I think you did say how many times we worked before, and the last time was nearly a year ago because it was the 23rd of January, and of course prior to that was 2022, and I've made notes. The last time that we worked was I was using a Yaesu Fox Tango 757 Golf X-ray, and I lost you in the QSB. The time prior to that, I was using an old Tentec Argosy 525, and I can't see any other notes I must have written for that. So we have worked a couple of times. Well, this time I'm on the third radio that you've worked me on. So the first time was the Tentec, the second time was the FT757 Golf X-ray. This one is a IC-7300 by ICOM. Thank you for the 5 and 5 to 5 and 6 using your FTDX 101D and 100 watts. I'm using just 100 watts myself into a 5/8 wave vertical antenna, as I said, but you're only about a 3 and 2 to me, Ralph, about a 3 and 2. You're just inside my noise floor today. My noise floor is Santiago 2. Normally earlier in the day it's about Santiago, well, it's a 0. But as we progress through the afternoon and the sun starts to set and everyone turns their LED lights on, I tend to sort of get this noise floor gradually creep up towards Santiago 3, and sometimes can make marginal signals like yours a little bit of a pain. But yeah, we got you a 3 and 2, I'm not sure that I'd better hold it with you for long today, but very, very nice to work you again, and nice to get you on yet another radio. I'll be sure next time I know my signal's going in your direction, that I'll be sure to use yet another radio. I've got a whole menagerie of old radios. Anyway, let's see how the signal's held up and see if I'm just talking into thin air. And as I say, it will be difficult based on the last over you gave me, but it's great to hear you again. Victor Echo 3, Lima Oscar Echo, this is Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot.
Yeah, very fine. I don't think it'll be more difficult this time, Mark. You're peaking up to 5 and 8 here. This last transmission signal actually built up, and you're 5/8 vertical with the third rig that I've worked to on the IC-7300. Looks like the workhorse for probably half the radio community or more, but it's doing an excellent job for you this morning, just after 11 o'clock in the morning here. And I have quite a range of old gear as well. I'm using this CQDX 101D, which I've had for about a year. It has been, it is a used rig, but it has been a very useful radio. I don't have a proper microphone for it. I'm using the hand mic from an old Yaesu FD1. When I bought this rig, it didn't come with a microphone, and I was able to find that, or at least determine that the old mic from the old Yaesu was pin for pin compatible with the new one, although this mic has an TR switch that I need to fix. The switch isn't intermittent, but the cable that's connecting it is, so I've tried to put enough tension on the cable. This is one of the situations where if you twist or turn the cable, the intermittency disappears, rather than what you'd expect is the opposite. But one of these days we'll find that problem. In any case, it's working well. I have an old ICOM 746 Pro here as well in the shack, which I use primarily on 2 meters. It's probably a 20-year-old model, but it's one of the predecessors of the one you have there. It's sometimes called an ICOM 7400. Interestingly, the ICOM has numbered their radios, not necessarily in the order of production. You would expect a 7300 to be earlier than a 7400 based on the model number, but such is not the case. Interestingly, I think that's a European designation. It is a European band capability on the 7400 versus the 746 Pro here. But both and the ICOM 746 Pro here have internal antenna tuners, which I make use of here. But I tend to prefer the internal antenna tuner on the ICOM rig. It is fast, doesn't make much noise, and has relatively greater acceptance of higher SWRs than does this thing, if you would use the antenna on this particular radio, the CQDX 101D, that makes quite a bit of a clattering noise, and it takes sometimes about 5-10 seconds before it tunes up, although that depends on how high the SWR is. It's less tolerant of SWRs that are more than 3 to 1 here, but you'd like to have the antenna before tuning to be better than that in any case. But I do use the old ICOM 746 Pro or 7400 for other contacts like 40 meters the odd time. I don't have proper antennas for the low bands, and the ICOM tends to do a better job tuning up on those than does this rig. But I I try to spend most of my time here on 10 meters and some of the associated bands here when the propagation permits. Anyway, back to you there, Mark. Mike 0, Juliet, Charlie Fox, Victor Echo 3, Lima Oscar Echo.
Yeah, VE3 LOE M0 JCF, absolutely stonking signal now. And when I say stonking, it's 5 and 5, sometimes peaking 5 and 7, but a good average of 5 and 5 there, Ralph. Lovely tone as well coming from the microphone. I have been using on this radio the noise reduction facility, the digital noise reduction. Makes you sound a little bit like you're in a big echoey metal tin. But you know, it's lovely and clear. So when you're above my noise floor, absolutely great signal from you. And I'm of the opinion as well, and I say this quite often, you know, I'm more interested in the audio quality. If I can hear you and your signal is Santiago 1 or not even moving the meter, then, you know, that's good enough for me. I don't get too hung up on the 5 and 9s. So long as I can hear you, a readability 4 or better, then, you know, the signal doesn't matter. You know, we're transmitting 3,500, 4,000 miles, possibly over the poles, maybe coming up underneath. I don't know. I've got a vertical antenna, so I'm not sure which way, you know, my signal is reaching you. But I'm just happy that my signal gets there. And yeah, do you know what you're saying about the numbering system? I got lost in that after many years. I just looking at your QRZ page when you was describing your antenna, and yeah, beautiful antenna system and lovely scenery that you've got there. But you know, I see you had you've got an FT1. Well, I had one of those. I bought it via a silent key. A good friend of mine passed away a few years ago, and I bought his FT1. I just couldn't get on with it though. There was something about it I just did not like. So after 6 months, I sold it on. And you know, the 746 Pro, yeah, I'm not too sure about the numbering systems, but I know with Yaesu, they keep on harking back to the 101 number. I mean, I have got in my garage, I've got two FT101. One is just the 101, the other one is the 101 Echo. So, you know, they're old hybrid radios from way back in the day, a lot older than your 746 Pro and probably older than the FT1. What else have I had? I've got lots of KW equipment. I've got some old summer camps and that. A lot of my radios date back to the 1960s. And it was just a case of, I've always been interested in amateur radio since like the early 70s. And having failed the exam once in 1978, it took, you know, the best part of 40 years for me to actually get licensed. And really, I've sort of bought some of the radios I've been buying and restoring and using have been radios that I wanted back in the day when I was unlicensed. So we're talking late 70s, early 80s. You know, they're all the radios that I wanted back then. And some of them are just circumstance, like the KW radios that I've got is because the radio club I belong to, there's a big following of KW radios. And KW was a manufacturer that was very close to where I live in the southeast of England. So consequently, you know, I just got caught up in the bug of buying up KW equipment. One of them, the Atlanta, is very similar to the Swan 350, and I think electrically it is the same, or as near as damn it, you know, it's the same. But I've also got a Swan 350, believe it or not. Lots of old radios that I need to build power supplies for as well. I have been given, or I've rescued over the last few years, several suitable transformers from old tube radios and hybrid radios that were really beyond repair. So, you know, I've got enough equipment to build several HT power supplies. It's just that I've been doing a lot of operating recently, and you know, the operating has really been taking me away from the from really the restoration and the homebrew type of thing. So, but we'll get there. I'm retired now, Ralph. I retired 2 years ago, and I did buy a lot of these old radios to sort of future-proof the hobby, so that in retirement I wouldn't have to spend money on actually buying the radios to start with, because I'm sure you know now, old radios, where people were throwing them away just 10-15 years ago, now they're commanding big prices. You know, I've got some old receivers from World War II vintage, like the RCA AR-88 and a few others, Eddystone, etc. You know, and I've got those radios, and I remember as a kid, people were giving those radios away, or you could pick them up for pennies just to get them out of people's way. Now they want equivalent to, like, I don't know, $300, $400, $500 Canadian for an AR-88 and radios like that. So they're all sitting in my garage just waiting for me to you know, get my finger out and carry on with the restoration. But I don't know, I'm a magnet for old radios. You know, if somebody's selling one at a reasonable price, even if I'm not overly interested, I tend to wait and see if anyone else puts in a bid, and if they don't, I dive in there. So, as I say, bit of a magnet. And I was the same with motorcycles. I used to race motorcycles as well as ride them, and I've still got a garage. I don't ride anymore, and I've still got a garage full of motorcycle parts that I really should move on. But I don't know, I keep thinking maybe one day I'll start again. Who knows? VE3 LOE M0 JCF. And I think maybe I went on too long that time. Propagation has killed it for us. I'll try one more time for you, Ralph. If you can hear me, I wish you best 73, just in case the propagation is one way at the moment. VE3 LOE M0 JCF. And my band scope has gone absolutely quiet. Very, very few faint signals on there. Possibly they're Europeans or North African. So it looks like maybe we've lost the path across the Atlantic. Victor Echo 3, Lima Oscar Echo. This is Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Fox. If you can still hear me, Ralph, have a great weekend, and we'll pick it up again in the future. Take care and goodbye for now. VE3 LOE M0 JCF. Listening one more time before continuing. Nothing is heard. CQ, CQ, CQDX, CQ.